In this video, I want to give advice to some of my young friends, whether you're 18, 20, 23, 25, or you're older and you're just young at heart. I want to give you some advice, some tips that I've learned over the past decade of being in sales, being in business, and attaining a lot of my goals that I set out to do. My goal really is to compress decades into days, so I'm going to do that here for you with 3 tips that I've learned in the past decade myself and that I want to pass on to you. Now, before we get into these 3 tips that I've learned over the past decade, I just want to say you don't have to be young or 18 or 20 or 22 to apply these tips. These are things that you can apply at any given point in your life to actually get better, to improve, and to give yourself a much better chance of being successful and reaching all your goals. So at any given point or any given age, you can apply these things and you can have a lot of success with them. Tip number 1 is self-education. And I want to lead this in with something that my first and most valuable mentor, Jim Rohn, taught me at a very young age, which was formal education will make you a living, and that's all good, but self-education will make you a fortune. And I really took that to heart at a young age, and I really applied it, and I started reading books and started going to business conferences and investing whatever money I had into mentorships and getting proximity to power, getting closer to people that are in power, that are successful, that have the lifestyles and the results that I want, and for me to learn from them firsthand. So I really took this to heart, and this is something that I want to pass on to you. Now, this isn't an anti-school rant by any means, although I did drop out first year and it was the best decision of my life. We can get into that in a different video, but this is something that holds true for most people. If your career path or your end goal doesn't directly require a school path, a degree, if you don't want to be a doctor, engineer, or a lawyer, some of the very specific things that require, study and school and degrees for you to actually be able to hold that position, then it's way more valuable for you to actually invest in self-education, for you to invest in books, courses, seminars, mentors, conferences, places you could go and people you can meet and work under, and apprenticeship opportunities where you can really learn real life tangible experiences. And that's what I learned from Jim Rohn early on. And that sums up the whole quote. Formal education will make you a living. It'll get you a career, possibly. I mean, nowadays with, the internet, everything's being disrupted. But let's just leave it at that. It can make you a living and, a career, but self-education can make you a fortune. And this concept actually ties in directly with something that Jim Rohn said as well a long time ago that always stuck with me, which was don't set goals for the goal itself, but set goals for who you have to become to achieve that goal. Who you have to become ties directly in with self-education. You need to educate yourself and take control of your own education in order to become the person you need to become to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. If that all makes sense, it all really ties in together. So tip number 1 is self-education. And I want you to remember that formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Tip number 2 for my young folks out there is to commit to getting your finances right. This is super important, and I'm so glad that I realized this at an early age, and I want to really impress this upon you. I want you to grasp this idea and understand this at a young age as well, because it's going to go a long way for you. It's going to really help in the long run. If you get started early, you want to get your finances right. And a lot of people say money doesn't make you happy. Sure, that's very true. There are a lot of wealthy, successful, quote unquote, people that are unhappy, but I sure as hell know being broke doesn't make you happy either. So that whole sentence, that whole saying that people love to spread around is just nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. Those two things don't have to be correlated with each other. Yes, you need to be happy, and you need to have amazing relationships in life and be fulfilled and live a life that is meaningful to you, whatever that means. And also, having money is like having oxygen to breathe. It's everything that you want to do requires money. You want to help your loved ones. You want to give back to society. You want to be somebody who actually is impactful or can give, even if you're not selfish, you're not greedy, you don't want money for yourself. Sure, you want to help people. You want to contribute to charities. You want to be Bill Gates and cure a freaking disease off the face of the planet. You need money for that, right? So commit to getting your finances right. And this is so critical for you to understand at the earlier stages of your career. Now, one way that I know how to get your finances right is learning sales, learning to negotiate, and learning to close deals. Now, I know I always go back to sales, but I'll give you one very simple reason that I'm sure you would agree with. in any other space or, field or industry, more than likely, especially if you're starting out as an intern or as an entry-level position, you're trading your time for money. So you work a certain amount of hours and you get paid a certain amount of dollars per hour. Now, any intelligent person knows that earned income, hourly income, is the lowest form of income and is one of the most, prerequisite forms of income. It's one of the most primary forms of income. You want to, as soon as possible, be able to escalate out of that and move on to different types of income. Knowing that, one easy way to get your finances right is to learn sales and learn negotiating, learn closing deals, to learn the art of sales. And I know I always go back to that, but there's a reason. I'll give you one simple reason that I'm sure you would agree with. Any other job, any industry that you want to go into at an entry level especially, is going to pay you an hourly rate. Maybe if you're lucky and you have a degree to back you up, they'll pay you a salary that, is still going to be peanuts, but let's just say you have that guarantee or that security, which by the way is not real. I don't even want to get started on that. But let's say you have security, you have the guarantee, you have the salary. It's going to be whatever dollar amount compared to whatever hours you're required to work. So most people, even in society today, if you look around, are trading their time for money, which is actually the worst form of income. It's one of the most primary levels of income, and you want to be able to escalate yourself out of that as soon as possible. But that being said, sales allows you to actually trade value in the marketplace for money. So it's no longer just hourly. A lot of salespeople do get paid salary or hourly as well, a base pay. But above and beyond that, you're getting paid commission. You're getting paid a percentage of the goods and services that you're selling and that you're exchanging into the marketplace. So now it's opened up a second door for you where your income is really in your own hands. You can really control your income. So for example, going by the law of averages, if you know that you made X amount of dollars this month and that came as a result of you closing 5 deals, you know that if you want to make double that income next month, you just need to close double the deals. Sales allows you that opportunity to really take control of your income, to take control of your finances. And I don't know anywhere else. I don't know any other industries. I sure as hell don't know any other jobs that are hourly that would give you that opportunity. So that's why I always go back to selling, negotiating, closing deals, learning this art form and mastering this skill in order to help you master your finances and control your finances. So that's tip number 2. You want to be able to commit to mastering your finances, commit to your own financial future. And one sure way that I know how to do that is by learning and mastering the art of sales. And tip number 3 is to value experiences early on. And what I mean by that is when you're younger or when you're in the early stages of your career, you want to experiment. You want to try different things. You want to try different fields, different industries. You want to really measure yourself against your competencies. One thing that I love that Charlie Munger says, his book is right there, right above me if you can see it, Poor Charlie's Almanac, the big blue book right there. It's basically a big volume textbook, but I loved reading it and I got so much value out of it. And one thing that this man in his 94 plus years of experience and career and wisdom says is you want to know the edge of your competencies. And what that means is you want to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. You want to know early on where you have a natural gift, a natural tendency, a natural inclination towards certain things, where you get drawn to certain careers or certain skill sets. For me, I knew early on that speaking, selling, communicating, understanding human psychology, human behavior was a natural gift for me. It's something that I always had. I always understood. I always thrived in social scenarios and situations. And as soon as I got into sales, when I was 16, 17 years old, I started to excel really quickly. And I started to, from there on, any career or opportunity that I stepped into, very soon become the top producer, the top leader in that company or in that industry. And therefore, my circle of competence was very clear to me and I stayed within that. To identify and understand what your circle of competence is, you need to experiment first. You can't just get it from theory. You have to understand it by really trying things, really doing things early on. And the best time for that is, your early teens, your early 20s. Those are the best times for you to experiment in different industries, try things out, learn. And I look at it as adding different edges to your character. I look at my experiences across 7+ different industries as me just almost living 7 different lives. You know what I mean? It's like I've had experiences in the network marketing industry. I know what that's like. I know what those people are like. I know the goods, the bads, the ugly. I know all of it, and I can genuinely say that I've taken a lot from that and added that to my character and who I am today. I have experience in the fitness industry. I know a lot about that, and that's made, me who I am today in a lot of different ways. That's added a lot to my character and my core competencies. I have experience in the auto industry. That gave me a lot of different edges that I normally would not have. And anybody that's worked in car sales or in the auto industry will understand where I'm coming from when I say nobody will really understand what it's like to work in a car dealership, to be a car salesperson or a car sales manager, unless you've done it. And those of you that have done it, kudos to you. And those of you who are still doing it, kudos to you. And I hope that I can help you be more successful at it. So the point is, all these different things add a different edge to your personality. And that's how you continue to grow and you continue to evolve and become who you eventually become. In my opinion, it's a never-ending game. I think chasing your potential is a really good thing and it's what you should strive to do. But the whole point is, as you grow and evolve and you get better and you learn more and you become wiser, your potential continues to grow with you as well. So technically, by that logic, you'll never reach it. You should never be able to reach your full potential. And that's cool. That's the whole game. That's what you want. You want to grow and exceed and continue to evolve so much that your potential continues to grow with you. And where you could be in 10 years is really, something beyond what you even thought possible. And I'll wrap this up with this one thing. Tony Robbins has a great quote where he says, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. And that really goes to speak to that whole potential thing. You may overestimate what you can do this year because a lot of people don't really want to take responsibility for the micro steps, for doing the little things day in, day out. And they think, in one day or overnight they become rich or successful, But a lot of people don't also understand what compounded discipline can do for you. You doing the right things, you being disciplined, you growing and reading these books and evolving and experimenting with different fields and industries and getting to the edge of your own competencies over a span of a decade can lead to places you could not have even imagined to begin with. You could not have even thought it up. That's why action is so important. That's why it's so important for you to actually start to experiment, when you're younger in your early stages of your career, even if you're older, it doesn't matter. Even if you want a fresh start and you want to do that now, do it. It doesn't matter how old you are. I'll go against that earlier point. You want to experience different things early on in your career, early on in any career, even if you're changing careers, you want to value experiences over the initial money. You want to get as much experience. You want to add as many layers to your character as possible for you to become who you need to become. And then for you to continue to tap into your potential. And then, like I said, your potential will continue to grow and you'll continue to chase it. And hopefully that way you'll live a life that's exciting, that's fulfilling, and that's getting you all the goals that you want and that you're going after. So to recap all of this, number one is you need to take responsibility for your own education. Education doesn't stop when you finish school. That's when it starts. That's literally when it starts. I mean, in all my years of schooling up to first year university, I learned a lot of good things, but not a lot of good things that I could apply to my life today. Nothing about business, nothing about taxes, nothing about wealth and money and success, nothing about discipline and habits. I mean, all the things pretty much that I need today and that I consistently practice and learn more about today. So take responsibility for your own self-education. That's number one. Number two is committing to getting your finances right. Again, one sure way that I know how to do that is by mastering the art of sales, because sales is a skill that allows you to create secondary levels of income. It allows you to start earning income that's not just trading your time for money, but it's actually trading value and products and services and goods for money. And that will allow you to really take control of your financial future early on, and it'll allow you to really speed up the process, which is important. And tip number three is to value experiences early on. You want to value experiences. You want to taste the waters as much as you can. You want to try different fields, different industries. You want to dip your toes in and then realize, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I actually really like that. Here I have a natural tendency or inclination, therefore I have a natural advantage. Here I'm not probably going to be successful because I don't really enjoy it and it's not something that I can see myself doing long term. So number three is really value experiences over the short-term income, and then you will get the long-term income, the long-term returns that you're looking for. So I hope that helps, and I hope that's something you got value out of. stay tuned. There's a lot more fire content coming your way, and there's a lot more nuggets and experiences and things that I want to share with you to help you with your sales career, to help you with your business, and ultimately to help you with your life.